Bring in Dan Bongino, a Fox News contributor, former NYPD officer, and author of Exonerated, the failed takedown of President Donald Trump by the swamp. Dan, even the Washington Post came out and said this is outright false. 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post. Your reaction?
Well, on this network about a week and a half ago, I warned everyone that this was a pre-planned hit, whistleblower gate. And by the way, it's not a whistleblower. It's a deep stater clearly looking to take down Trump. Whistleblowers report crimes and government malfeasance, not the president doing foreign diplomacy on the phone with foreign countries. Guys, listen, how many times are we going to be burned by Schiff? He's a fraud. He's a fake. He's a charlatan. He's a shell game player in Times Square. You know the shell game? I was a cop in New York. You can't actually win that game. They're defrauding you out of your money. You know where you try to pick the bean out of the shell? That's Adam Schiff. He's faking you. He's doing a head fake. He's that guy at the soccer game that takes the fall when he wasn't actually hit. How many hoaxes are we going to allow this guy to perpetrate? Now, I'm backing this up here with actual evidence. Can I go through a few points here that this was an actual fraud from the start? Number one, there was no promise. Remember the leak? There was a promise. President Trump was going to give up the nuclear codes to the Ukrainians. False. The text messages we now have from Gordon Sondland, which you covered on the show earlier, there is no quid pro quo. It's convenient, Pete. I'm glad you pointed that out. How the New York Times put that on like page 7,622. The meeting the next day after the Trump phone call to Ukraine. The guy, Bill Taylor, who suggested there was a quid pro quo, wasn't even in the meeting. But Gordon Sondland, who says there wasn't a quid pro quo, was. Kind of a convenient fact. One more thing. If you're going to extort the Ukrainians for military aid, you may want to tell them that. It's kind of convenient that you tell them you're holding them. The Ukrainians didn't even know about the military aid. Hey, Pete, I'm going to steal your money if you don't rat out your buddy. I have to tell you about stealing your money first. They didn't tell them anything about the military aid. This was a hoax from the start. The signs were everywhere, and the suckers in the media lapped it up again. I mean, it's incredible.
Now, Dan, you mentioned the New York Times. There's also another headline there that there may be a second whistleblower, another member of the intelligence community coming forward. Would that not simply reinforce what the first one is alleging?
Alleging what, Griff? What? We saw the transcript. What's there to allege? There was not. I don't understand. Allege what? That the transcript, there's an extra supercalifragilistic, makes me alidocious transcript? We already read his words. There's nothing in there. There's no there. What's the second whistleblower going to say? That, no, I reread the transcript and I have a version of it in Sanskrit, and in Sanskrit it really says there was a problem. There's nothing there. He already released the transcript.
Well, we believe
clearly...
We believe, Dan, that the next whistleblower, according to the New York Times article, would simply reinforce the premise that the Trump administration was trying to leverage in some way the military aid for, in exchange, investigation to be reopened into Burisma and the Bidens.
Griff, come on. You're not really falling. You're not seriously falling for this, are you? We read the transcript. We saw what happened. You have the guy, Gordon Sondland, in a text message saying he spoke with the president, who was literally in a meeting the next day with the Ukrainians, saying there's no quid pro quo. Here's what's going on here. Here's what they're covering. You see this article? Ukrainians' effort to sabotage Trump. Here's what they're covering. You want to see what else they're covering? Let me show you some more. You Australian diplomats sabotaging Trump. You want to see some more? British intelligence passing information on Trump to the Obama administration. You want to see some more? Christopher Steele identifying Russian sources. That's what they're hiding.
Hey, by the way,
with these ridiculous reports.
Speaking of seeing things, how important do you think it is that we all see Kurt Volker's testimony that happened yesterday behind closed doors?
I think it's very important, and I think the fact that Volker dismantled, who's a career diplomat, the entire theory of this ridiculous promise quid pro quo is important. It's nonsense. This is made up. We also listen. There's an election coming up. I'm a Republican. It's not a secret. I ran for office as a Republican. You don't like the president's foreign policy? There's an election coming up. But these allegations that he committed treason, bribery, high crimes or misdemeanors, and this is worthy of impeachment, it's a joke. Let me tell you what's happening. The Democrats have entirely lost the initiative. They made the mistake of putting the sleazeball Adam Schiff, who is a total fraud, as the face of this thing. He got busted lying. They got busted on paperwork malfeasance. They got busted. They should have went to the ICIG first on all of this. It's falling apart, and the Democrats are in a panic. That's why you're going to see second and third whistleblowers and all this. They're not whistleblowers. They're people trying to take down this administration from the inside.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know how they're not humiliated with Nancy Pelosi calling for impeachment before she even had the transcript. You have Adam Schiff just being completely deceptive repeatedly in front of the public and yet getting these invitations to repeatedly show up in these talk shows. And you have
Jen,
no high crimes and misdemeanors. No one can cite for me what those grounds for impeachment would actually be. I have not heard it once.
I know we got to run, but Jen, the ICIG didn't even see the transcript before they forwarded it on as an urgent concern. Not only Nancy Pelosi, the Inspector General didn't see it either.
I know. All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks
for being here as always.
Thanks, Dan. Saturday. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys.
All right.
Thanks.